Is that time after the end of the story. So let's get started. Though the events of the story are fictional, what does fictional mean? Fiction, yep, means not true. It's a story. The methods of escape were based on an actual historical account of those who escaped on the Underground Railroad. So remember, as we've talked about genres in reading this year, this would be considered a historical fiction story. So it's a story based on true events. The exact number of slaves who fled slavery using the Underground Railroad is still unknown, but historians estimate the number is to be nearly 100,000, and elaborate systems of signals and codes, including references to the drinking gourd as a symbol of the Big Dipper constellation that pointed to the North Star, helped to keep the Underground Railroad's operation secret. The Underground Railroad began in the 1780s and continued until the start of the Civil War in 1861. So we're looking at about 81 years there, guys. Thousands of abolitionists, those who worked to abolish slavery, including Quakers, free blacks, slaves, and many others. So to abolish means to end. An abolitionist is a person who wants to end something like slavery. Took tremendous risks to ensure safe passage for runaway fleeing slaves. When the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, in 1850, escaped slaves who had made it to freedom in the North were in fear of being captured and returned to slavery in the South. The only way to truly be safe from their slave masters was to run farther north into Freedom's Land, or Canada, which had abolished slavery in 1833. By 1852, an estimated 25,000 fugitives were living in Canada. Harriet Tubman, often called Moses because she led so many of her people to freedom, was one of the most celebrated conductors of the Underground Railroad. At age 28, she escaped alone by walking to Pennsylvania. She completed at least 15 trips back to her native Maryland, rescuing nearly 300 slaves, including many of her family members. She bought a home in Auburn, New York, not far from the border of Canada. And that's where we end this story.